Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 21st of October. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, as expected, and I spoke about this a few times, the euro finally came down and caught the S3. It's actually broken through that level now and broken through the 109 support, and well, at the moment it's looking like it could potentially run further. Actually ran out to the weekly chart to look at where the next sort of technical horizontal support would be around about 108.23, somewhere in that region, those prior lows. It seems that when you look at where my line is on this chart here, there's previously had been quite a lot of support around that sort of pivotal area. So 108.23 may be the next level of support here if it continues running south. I was looking for sort of any other sort of potential support areas. Well, there is weekly pivots below us, the weekly S2, I believe that is. Oh, sorry, S1 actually. It's just fractionally below us. So that in itself may provide a bit of support. Side of that, looking down the time frames here, well, we have got the daily pivot above us as a potential draw, but for me to be looking for anything like that, we'd need it to be above the daily 8, daily 8, hourly 8, and perhaps then we could be looking for a move in that direction. Now we're probably a little bit oversold at these points. Let's just check. It was oversold yesterday evening, which is not a surprise. Hasn't really pulled back to 21. Again, not a major surprise, bearing in mind the data and the lack of what was said at yesterday's meeting, more than what was said. So it's left the markets hanging there, and the dollar's obviously taking major advantage of this. So, as I say, if it gets above the 8, hourly 8, maybe we could see a push up towards the 21s. I think it would be a big ask at this point to see us coming back towards the daily pivot. Okay, the pound. The pound held on relatively well yesterday, bearing in mind the data that was coming out there. It did take a bit of a kicker along with when Draghi was speaking, but managed to pull back some of the losses there. Overall, it's really just still trading in this wedge. Yesterday we just managed to put in a bearish pivot swing, a break of the lows of yesterday. I would expect further downside. It's a real bit of a mixed bag, really. If we're still sort of seeing, there's a clearer trend line that's sort of running across the highs here now. And I'm sort of just looking at that. Actually, I'm going to use the current candle, which is obviously it may need to be adjusted if we had a sudden rally, but I don't use it. It's just peaking, trying to peak and break that sort of trend line, the hourly 21s. If we can get above that, above the pivot, I'd be a bit more on the bullish side. But overall, I remain bearish on this move, although it hasn't made a new low today so far. The S1 and yesterday's lows could well become a target. Plenty of resistance above us at the 34 and 50 in the way. That said, any sort of early morning rallies and we push out from there, well, we'd be looking for the R1 and yesterday's highs there, but my preference is to be looking at what's in trend at the moment. Dollar yen. At one stage it looked quite healthy for more of a continued rollover here 2 days ago. Yesterday was the usual picture of giving up at the moment by the looks of things, and it's a continued rally. The dollar strength just came through the markets there. As much as it tried in the morning to roll over, just found the 21s and bounced off those. From where we are at the moment, a bit of a mixed bag here because it's broken the 21s now. It's gone through a sort of another potential transitional period through the Asian session there. If it starts selling off back below the pivot, well, would be more inclined to look for the downside. But at the moment, it could be on back from a bounce from this sort of 34 pivot level. If it gets back above those 21s, could be heading up to the R1. Aussie dollar. Again, yesterday gave up. Started giving up in the early session yesterday. A lot of it, and it just continued giving up and its gains plus some more yesterday. Just cannot hold these levels. Okay, run into horizontal resistance there, run into its weekly R2, the pivots there, and just selling back at the moment. Well, just looking at the smaller picture, it has got the daily pivot still above, but struggling to get towards that. Maybe if it does get another push up towards that, that could possibly be a selling point for a further downside from the picture that we're seeing at the moment. Finally, the Canadian dollar. In fact, let's just check on oil. Oil slipped back a little bit there. It's 50.52 from the highs of 2 days ago, nearly $52. But the Canadian dollar, for me, should still be making more of this stronger oil price, but it's not. The stronger dollar is playing the game, and as I said yesterday, we ended up with a daily pivot swing, which suggests to me further upside here, although it's been in a steep 4-hourly trend here, and we may get some sort of retracements back to wear off some of the more excessive, I say excessive, but yesterday I was looking for a move that actually eventually came quite late morning, which I missed, and then it just continued up in this level. It didn't even get back to 21s yesterday. Well, chances are it may come back to 21s. If it breaks the 21s, we've got a daily pivot on there, but at the moment it's looking rather bullish. That's it pretty much in the technicals. Fundamentally, we've got not a lot of data out today. Public sector net borrowing may give a little blip for the UK for the pound at 9:30. The EU summit continues, day 2 of that. Any comments coming out from the ministers there? Possibility to create volatility. Thereafter at 1:30 we've got the CAD data. So once again we're sitting waiting for a bit of information on retail sales and inflation from Canada. So that will make the afternoon. So that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.